be any class you want, like it's Skyrim. Like I'm not expecting that.
Yeah.
But I do think in the Diablo series, I do think the ability to pick your specialization from an archetype would be cool.
Feel like the Black Madara, fuck down my little house of horror. Feel like the Black Madara, fuck down my little house of horror.
This is the creator. The creator. Stop playing.
I feel like the Black Madara.
But yeah, so we're back with another episode of Inkonsistent Podcast. It's your boy Saint Rayne. I got my bro Sloov with me, and he is basically our resident Diablo expert. This man's been playing Diablo since how long?
I've been addicted to since the beta.
No, but how long have you been playing like the Diablo franchise?
So honestly, I feel like Diablo was the first ever computer game I played back in New York when I was younger. So Diablo 2.
Okay, so you've been way back.
That's where that shit started really. And then me, my cousins, my brother, my dad, we've been playing Diablo 2 for like years. Played 3 a little bit, but I wasn't as deep in 3 as I was Diablo 2.
Okay.
But,
Okay, so you a longtime Diablo fan.
Yeah, I've been in this junk.
I'm a bit more of a newcomer because I came in for Diablo 3 on PS4. So I came into the wave like late. Like I'm like a casual to the real Diablo fans. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I think Diablo 3 was one of those games that was so good. It made me kind of like a retroactive fan where I went back and I kind of read up on the lore and I watched like lore videos and gameplay videos of Diablo 1 and 2 because I really ended up playing Diablo 3 multiple times. Like it's part of the way the game was built in general, but the more I like played through the story and stuff, the more I wanted to have like actual understanding of what was going on before the game started and stuff like that, you know, like who are the angels and who are these characters and why was this person sealed here when there was like 2 other games before I wanted to know. So Diablo 3 really did make me a fan of the franchise, and mechanically Diablo 3 is one of those games that I put a crown on it.
Yeah, Diablo 3 is kind of lit.
In terms of RPG, like I'm not really a top-down person. I don't really care for, you know, top-down games all that much, even though my first game, shout out Asher Warrior, is a top-down dungeon crawler game, basically as tough as Diablo. But but I did find myself like really just getting lost in the madness that was Diablo 3. Yeah. I thought it was fire. So with Diablo 4, I was telling you kind of earlier, I'm wanting to take my time with this kind of like review of the game. You know, I'm taking my time making my way through it. I'm like right now exploring dungeons, really trying to pay attention to even what some of the people are saying when I just go up to talk to them. And you know, there's some side quests I've done that's just so simple, but it's like it's so meaningful to the people who give the quest.
This version of Diablo is definitely like everything is so deep. Like I just beat the story mode last night, but I'm at like level 53. So I'm like, people was beating the story mode at level 30. What happened? Bruh, everything is lit. Like all the side quests, like you really get invested in it, because this Diablo, you really feel like, okay, no, everybody is like in turmoil. Like hell is coming, and you can feel it affecting the world. Like this shit it's lit.
So I don't want to spoil too much of the game, which is why you know this Diablo review is more of a review in progress. It's more like a part 1 of a part, maybe like a 3 or 4 part kind of review. And I'm definitely gonna be wanting more of your input for the rest of these reviews. For this one, I kind of want to talk more so about just opinions on maybe like early game stuff.
Gameplay,
you know, just especially for people who's like, I've never played Diablo maybe, or they're long-term fans and whatever reason they haven't really made that jump. I kind of want to just give my impressions, I guess, on just what it felt like coming from Diablo 3, waiting like, you know, basically like a whole console generation for another Diablo game, and then kind of coming into finally this game's like it's finally out. Like,
Yeah.
bro, I think we were waiting for this game like
waiting
for a minute,
Yeah.
and even just this year going by, luckily went by as semi fast as it did,
Yeah.
because even just the start of this year, like we were looking at this game
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
hey, no matter what comes out, this game is the next game we're
Yeah.
getting, you know.
Yeah.
So I know for me, starting off the game, I definitely love the way they kind of pull you into the world.
Mhm.
You know, the cinematics.
Mhm.
I try not to give cinematics too much, not to say too much credit, but like, you know, a lot of games will use cinematics to kind of make up for the fact that there's not much video game actually there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like with this game in particular, because even though Diablo 3 had cutscenes and they were really good, I feel like with this game in particular, the cinematics do a really good job of really pulling you into the story,
Yeah.
especially when you need to be pulled in.
Yeah.
And like, no matter what I was doing, like I'll play the game and just kind of be zoned out a little bit because I'm just like hacking and slashing and, you know, I'm paying attention to whatever. But then like, if a cutscene, even before a cutscene triggers, like that dialogue
Yeah.
that starts to happen as like the tone changes and you're like, oh, okay, I'm about to find out something. Like I'm about to
Yeah.
learn something. I really do dig that about this game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely really dope how they do their videos. Like their videos really do just kind of like make you want to become more embraced in this story. Like,
Right.
Like it really just like draws you in. Like even the whole opening cinematic that everybody done seen with the summoner and all of that, like it's legit real when like you like sitting there like, yo, they're actually like in darkness, like there's no light, like you're being drawn in, and it's kind of like they bring that feeling and then they expand it out into the world. So like you said, it's not just like, oh yeah, the video was dope but the game is kind of, no, it's like, no, it's all there. Like it's really dope. But I'm trying to say stuff without spoiling.
No, yeah, I don't want to spoil too much. This is gonna be a very short one. I do like the way they pull you into the game. Off rip.
As a matter of fact, one thing I really do like about this game, I don't usually talk about side quests or brag about side quests. So like the last game I've ever played where a side quest meant something to me was Skyrim.
Wow.
Which says a lot because Skyrim, like them side quests took you on like journeys and like other guilds and clans. You just find a whole bunch of stuff. But like this kind of does it in a different way where it's like the side quests make you feel like you're doing something in this world, but also like there's something in this world to be done. Like not even just the side quest, but like when you hear the villagers talking, like a child's crying over his father, like it's like
People crying over just a piece of bread or something.
Yeah, it's like
everything is dire and you feel that.
Yeah. Then it's like these people are really like, we need to be saved. Like it's crazy. So I love the way their side quests kind of make you feel more invested in the world.
Yes.
Like all of them side quests,
Yes.
just even like random side quests that I don't want to talk about, they just make you feel like, dang, these two people meant something, or this person meant something to these people, or these people were all going through this one thing together and had no clue what was going on, and they needed their savior to come through and be like, oh snap, this is what that is. All right, I got y'all. Like, it's dope. It's real dope.
It really is. I really appreciate the fact that the side quests are immersive in the way that they just kind of bring you more into the world. You know, a random side quest I did ended up with me meeting this guy who was like half demon or something.
What?
Right, like he just.
I didn't even find that. What?
Like it's just there's so, but he told a story. Like he was telling a story about like how
That's
he
how
ended
you
up
know
in the
there's a lot in
situation.
this game. I done got to level 53, done beat the story quest. You just started the game and did a quest that I didn't even know existed.
And I got something out of it.
Exactly.
Like, come on, like
Exactly.
I really think that's dope. I think the classes are cool. You know how I feel about the barbarian and
Yeah,
the Druid. For everyone who doesn't know, I do kind of feel like the Druid is a very dope new class for someone like me, where I never played the previous Diablo game, so whoever was in Diablo 3 is sort of like in my head like they're the main or the original cast.
Yeah.
And then like I look at Diablo 1's original cast as like the prequel, and also kind of like a more simple archetype in general, with like a simple warrior and a sorcerer, etc.
Yeah.
So with Diablo 4, I was more interested in seeing what the new cast would be like. You know, it's like a new season of characters, and I wanted to see who was going to be on the show for season 4. You know, and I did feel like having the barbarian and the druid both on the show kind of was like, okay, you know, like I would. And it's funny that the video was literally showing,
like,
you know,
we're legit looking at character creation. The dude just happened to choose a barbarian in a druid walkthrough.
In
like,
a druid walk. But I do feel like the barbarian is cool. Like I feel like the barbarian maybe just I like the druid, and I feel like they're so similar that I would have liked to see the druid take the barbarian's place and just get that kind of shine as like it's barbarian but with magic, and yeah, there's more to it, just because, and then given that slot to like a completely either new class or a completely different class than either one that was in Diablo 3, you know, bring something that was in Diablo 2, because like I said, like I never really played Diablo 1 or 2, so any class from Diablo 1 or 2 coming into Diablo 4 would have been brand new to me. You know what I mean? As opposed to seeing like Necromancer. Even though I played a Necromancer, if I didn't play the Necromancer, I'd be like, you only get a pass because he was a DLC character. You know what I mean? You came in like at the end of season 3. You came in at the season for like the season finale arc, and that's really it. So this is your time to shine, and I respect that. You know, the sorcerer. I think last game we had the wizard. So even though they're similar, they're different, and
they kind of do the same stuff.
They do
technically. Well,
I mean, I think they merged.
I think they, because the wizard in Diablo 1 got corrupted,
right?
But there was a sorceress in Diablo 2, but then there was a wizard in Diablo 3, and now there's a sorceress in Diablo 4. That just clicked to me. I'm wait a minute.
Are they just like taking turns?
Yeah, that just clicked in my head.
I mean, they might, because how many wizard classes do they have in the history so far?
That's only been the like
even
you
across like
you can't
DLCs?
make a wizard another way.
Well, I mean, okay, I'll throw the necromancer in there.
See,
as a third wizard class.
I feel like the necromancer and the wizard they're close, but it's I guess the type of magic that they do.
Yeah, they're completely different.
Type of magic.
And I mean, even if they were to like say they took out the sorcerer completely, and they kind of just
had the necromancer in there.
Had the necromancer, had the necromancer, and then just had even something like a different skill tree. Like maybe it's not a necromancer, you know what I mean? But I know Diablo 4 is gonna keep to their
they're gonna keep to that character archetype. Yeah. Otherwise, you won't really feel like you're that character archetype.
Exactly.
You know?
But
like if you were a sorcerer out here pulling up skeletal mages and whatnot, you won't really feel like a sorcerer.
But there was something that happened in the way that like the necromancer unlocks the golem, where we have to like complete a quest line basically. And
your specialization.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I think something like that is still cool. You know what I mean? Like I don't expect it. Not to say I expect it from Diablo particularly, but like Diablo could have done specializations as opposed to like having 2 barbarians, just one does magic, and having 2 wizards except the one does dark magic. You know what I mean?
Here's my rebuttal to your barbarian druid thing, right?
I know.
because see, so for some of y'all that don't know, the barbarian has been my like main since Diablo 2. And I'm not gonna lie. I'm really feeling the druid right now. Like I'm really maining the druid right now. But
That's a big but.
for me, it's like, especially the way the barbarian is in this game, like he's very much like the no magic, I'm just going in hardcore, destroying everybody, this and that, with like straight weapons. Like
Right.
he's the only character in the game. He's the only character in the game that can carry 4 different weapons. 2 of them are two-handed. Like that's some wild stuff, right? Meanwhile, I've been playing the druid, and it's like I could either have like 1 axe or like 1 staff, or like I can have a one-handed weapon and a totem. So it's kind of like, I see where it's like they can be part of the same tribe, but as far as like fitting that role of the character archetype, the only reason why I rebuttal is because it's like, since I've been playing the druid, I'm realizing like the druid can be so many things, while the barbarian can only be the barbarian, and nobody else can kind of do the barbarian. In the sense of like what he brings to the game as a character archetype, that straight warrior going smash things up, while the druid is like, I'm kind of contradicting myself, because the way I play the druid
It's like a barbarian.
is because I be doing that earthbender stuff, bro. Like,
I'm
but
like,
it's the versatility in the druid that he could be like this in your face earth tank, or this like bear monster thing, or he could be like in the back with like all of his companions, you know, like he can play so many different fields. I feel like he can jump anywhere.
I'm not gonna say the game should have done it differently than how they did it. I think they did it fine. You know what I mean? Like, even with the cast selection, I think the cast selection is fine. I don't play as the barbarian. I'm probably gonna try out the druid at some point.
Now I do feel like if they well, I don't know. Never mind. I was gonna say they could switch the barbarian out with. They could have done like another warrior, like that, like the holy knight class. Or
Right, but let me say this real quick.
I'm kind of like, I don't know now.
If they were to have done like a specialization kind of thing, I do think that could have also worked. Maybe not for Diablo 4, like so suddenly as a shift, but I would say like maybe even by like Diablo 5, because Diablo 4 is the first Diablo game to have character customization, which is very dope in this game. You know what I mean? And it's not really like as deep as like Cyberpunk or Skyrim or anything, but it's very dope.
Yeah.
Whereas Diablo 3 didn't have it at all.
Yeah.
So like even just that amount of freedom is dope in Diablo. So I'm not expecting it to be like, oh, be any class you want, like it's Skyrim. Like I'm not expecting that.
Yeah.
But I do think in the Diablo series, I do think the ability to pick your specialization from an archetype would be cool. Where it's like, okay, the barbarian can still specialize into like a warrior barbarian or like a druid. You know what I mean? And that can be sort of like a real, like a permanent thing where it branches off as much as it would otherwise. Like it can happen at say like level 20, 25, and then when you get to like something like, you know, level 50, you've maxed out being a warrior barbarian where you have like 7 different weapons and you're not doing no magic or nothing.
Yeah,
you
just
straight barbaric. You know what I mean? But then you meet like another barbarian who's also level 50, but he specialized as a druid. So his entire thing is like, you know, and then maybe paragon points and, you know, weapon items and stuff, or weapon effects and stuff like that could bridge or could add like some sauce to that specialization where you're a druid barbarian but you have a 2-handed weapon that can be treated like a 1-handed weapon. You know what I mean? Like stuff like where then it's like, oh, my barbarian is like some crazy shit, because you know what I mean. And even with, I don't expect that, but I do think that for something like the barbarian and druid to be relatively similar enough that they could down the line sort of just make the druid not a class by itself,
But make like the druid a branch of barbarian.
A strong branch. Yeah, like, but if they're not gonna go all in on it, they might as well just keep it a separate class.
Well, yeah, because they kind of went all in.
Because they went all in, yeah.
Yeah.
But
because I feel like in that way, like, then again, that'd be kind of wild now that I think about it. Because like you could be like this dual wielding, two-handed weapon, but you're holding him in both hands, wielding barbarian that like transformed into a bear. But see, I don't know, because like, so I did the specialization for the druid, and for that one it was like I had to find this animal spirit and like free it from its corruption, because they didn't know what was happening with the spirit. And when I freed the spirit, like, then I got to basically, you have 4 spirit animals and each of them give you a skill, and then when you like choose a specific spirit animal as like your main, you get 2 skills from him. So they kind of like give you like little buffs, but enough to like completely change your playstyle. I don't know how the specialization went for the barbarian, because I only played the barbarian really in the
2 more
DLC.
weapons. No, I'm joking. I don't know.
Bro, that'd be crazy.
You carry 18 weapons.
You thought you could carry 5 weapons. You can use every weapon in your inventory. That would be insane. That'd be some barbaric
You
stuff.
rotate weapons with every combo. Every hit you rotate a weapon.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Who's that? Become Zoro from One Piece.
The more you rotate, you start to create after images of yourself.
Yeah, no, I really do love the RPG factor of this game, and I'm prepared to be incredibly hard on it about like the skill trees, just because on a surface level the skill trees don't look as expansive per power as like Diablo 3.
I feel like the way the skill trees kind of expand is
it gets better.
This could be a good or bad thing, but it's kind of based off your gear.
Right, but at the start of the game, like I'm level 25 or something like that, right?
Yeah, so it's very basic kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's like I have the 2 specialization options for each power, you know, and then still coming off of Diablo 3, like one power had like 5 forms or 5 variations.
Yeah.
So it's like I really had.
You went from having a bunch of options to like, okay, now I have this one option. What can I do with that?
Yeah, and I do enjoy the way, you know, it's designed and it's functions. And I do find myself like refunding just to try out different loadouts and stuff like that. And I think in a way
that's a really good feature. I love
in a way I feel like that kind of works better than it did in Diablo 3 somehow. But at the same time, I feel like in Diablo 3, once I started unlocking things, I wasn't refunding.
Yeah.
I feel like in this game, I tend to refund a lot more, but money's not a problem in the game, but I feel like I tend to refund a lot more.
Definitely early game, because I did a lot of refunding too. Early game I did a lot of refunding, but like you kind of get to a point where it's like you figure out, you're like, okay, this is the kind of build I want to go
right
for.
and I'm slowly getting
that's where
there.
I was at when I like figured out, like, hold on, I still could be like an earthbender in this junk. So I just like figured out how to improve myself as an earthbender, and like there were some skills I was like, nah, I'm not gonna use. But then, you know, it's like, well, I can refund the points, I can use a skill, and you're like, oh, this is kind of dope. Then you kind of like see how
might as well try it out.
Yeah, you can kind of see how it's like, okay, this is how I want to use it in my play style that I'm developing. And then you kind of get to a point where you like fully like invest in like whatever play style you've had,
right?
And then like you find certain weapons and gear that give your abilities special passives and special effects or new things that happen.
Right, and that's kind of the reason why I didn't want to just do a review yet. You know what I mean? Because I do feel like I'm just getting to a point where my character even feels like he actually almost has powers. Like he's had powers since jump, but like this is one of those games where it builds. It really does stack on top of itself.
So then how do you feel about the game where you're at right now?
Right now, I feel like the game is cool. Like it's one of those games where I can just hop in it, and that's one of the reasons why I love the side quests and stuff like that, because a lot of times I don't even feel pressed to do like the main quest. Like they have the golden, markers on the map. Like, hey, this is, and I'll go to them mostly just to open up my map. Like, one of the first things I love to do when I get any open world game is just explore the map, just to see like what is the scope of the game that I'm playing, and what does it look like from like on a piece of paper versus when I'm actually walking around in it. And so I do love just like taking my time, and the game rewards me for that. I just find dungeons. I love finding dungeons, and just sometimes because I'm strictly just a necromancer, like finding the right dungeon that gives me like either a specific necromancer boost or a general permanent boost. It's rewarding without feeling like it's down to the loot or it's down to like I'm not chasing loot in this game.
It's more down to your journey.
My journey is progressing, and even with the refunding the points and stuff like that, like there is a way that this game just makes you want to play more of it, and so that's why I feel like it's incredibly important that I take my time with it. You know what I mean?
I feel like this game is like definitely meant to have your like take your time, because like I've been watching videos like the first 2 days this game came out, all I heard was end game this, end game that, this is end game, you gotta do this for end game, Paragon board. I'm just like, I get the game, I'm like, hold on, forget rushing through the story mode. Like, first of all, look at this world, like look at the modeling on this dungeon, bruh. I went into like that first quest where like you find that. How far in the story are you before I even say what I'm about to say? What was the last story mission you did?
Level 25. The last thing I did. Boy, I am drawing like a blank. With Lilith. Boy, I try not to spoil anything.
Did you meet that girl?
No, the last thing I did was undo the shard that got jammed into that kid's head.
Oh, see, that's one thing I like about the story. You can kind of like jump around, because that's technically act 3.
Really? Act 3?
Yeah.
I thought that was like, I feel like the way the game like pitched it to me was like, oh, we are transitioning into Act 2. And I was shit, I still have some Act 1 left. I still have some Act 1. Hold on.
Wait, no, that is Act 2. Never mind. Yeah. Okay, but that's good. But okay, I'm gonna just talk about a random dungeon. So I was doing this dungeon the other night, and basically the dungeon was like of this snake god, and it's like the design in this game is beautiful, because like if you just take a moment to like look at things, like in the cracks of the dungeon, like because it was like in a cave, but you can like see the snake slithering through the stone.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And I'm just like, hold on. Design wise, this is beautiful, and that's one thing about this world. Like it's beautiful when you go into like a corrupted catacomb. You see like the spider legs just like moving around on the side, or like the gore and everything. Like this game is meant to just like take your time,
take it in,
look at everything, look at the corruption, look at it. It's beautiful. Like
I did try to it has the zoom in feature.
Oh man, I just don't know how to do that.
Oh, you just press like up on the D-pad,
and that simple.
And then like a little radio thing comes up, and then you just it's like one of those emotes. Yeah. But it zooms in on the character, and me thinking, oh yeah, because I don't like top-down games like that or whatever, so zoomed in would be way better. And zoomed in is cool because you can see your character and you can like see more of it, but it cuts off the whole screen.
Yep.
The whole screen. I could not see nothing. Boy, if I didn't have like 30 minions with me at all times, I was about to be wrecked because I couldn't see nothing. I was just getting hit. Well, I wasn't getting hit, but my minions were just getting hit.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, let me zoom back out. Yeah, we're gonna have to be 2,000 feet away.
This game is definitely meant to just take your time and just observe everything, because like it's crazy that the first week folks was talking about the end game and how to get through the story as fast as possible so you can get to the Paragon board. How long has this game been out? Like 3 weeks or something now?
No, like a week.
A week.
Like I think early access people got it maybe like a week early.
That's what it is. That's why. Dang. So you telling me this game has been out for a week?
Maybe 2 weeks.
And people is talking about how to rush through the story mode and get to the Paragon board. No. And then they want to complain that there's nothing to do. No.
Might have been out for like 2 weeks. I don't know. But
Regardless.
Yeah, the game hasn't been out like a month.
Regardless, exactly. Like, what do you mean rush to endgame? There's so much.
There's
so
a
much
lot
to do.
So yeah, if you haven't, if you're on the fence about it, but you like RPGs, I would definitely say get into it, check it out. You're definitely gonna get lost into it. I am going to have to be honest about stuff, but I'm saving it for when I get further into the review.
Yep.
The main thing I'm just really worried about is seeing more so how the internet stuff is going to affect my opinion on the game. But I do want to try out like the PvP and stuff because I know that's kind of like baked into it. So that's going to be separate. That's going to be basically like maybe my next.
And I haven't even dabbled in that yet. Like I went into the zone and like one dude came up on me and we burped him. But like I didn't like really get into that area. It's more like I'm passing through it. So
yeah, so that's gonna be the next
thing that has a lot to offer.
Right. That's gonna be like one of the next things I'm really kind of looking forward to talking about. Because as far as like just the intro, the initial setup and getting you immersed into the world, so off rip, I think the game does that well.
Yeah.
I think with the character creation being a new feature, I think that was very well done. AG got mad at me the other day because I was like, look, unless you're telling like a dope story about a specific person and you're gonna make that story worth telling, just make it a character creation.
Yeah.
You know, because like why not? Like why can't I just see myself?
Yeah.
You know
At this point,
and Diablo didn't have to do the character creation because they never did it for like the last 3 games, but they do it in here, and I feel like it definitely just makes the game that much better, and that much more worth getting into. And with the powers, the way you just figure your character out, just off the rip, just getting through the early stuff. You know, like I'm only level 25, so I'm like halfway to 50. And you know, at level 50 is when you really step into your like adult form.
It's kind of like DC Universe,
right?
Like you get this part of the game, but what is it? Level 30. Once you get to level 30, it's like, okay, welcome to the Justice League, aka welcome to the actual game.
Welcome to real world. All that stuff was just a tutorial, you know. So stay tuned. We'll be back to talk about Diablo 4 a little bit later, but we'll be back because there's definitely a lot more to go over in this game, and honestly I don't even feel like we scratched any of the surface. Like
probably nope. Didn't even trip off the surface.
There's a lot more. Like the whole Paragon board is gonna be a whole thing to talk about. You know what I mean? And even the microtransactions and like I said, the internet connection and always online. These are all things that I want to spend a little bit more time kind of getting my take on before I put it like down as like an official opinion. You know what I mean? Because I really do love Diablo as a series, and there's a lot going on behind the scenes that is just worth talking about. So stay tuned, and we'll be back to talk about Diablo 4 some more.